Hi everyone, it's Susan. Welcome. Have you guys heard? Catherine Pooler has come out with color bursts. It's awesome. There's Samba, Limoncello, Mardi Gras, and Suede shoes. And then she's also has Liquid Sparkle, the Samba ice and Limoncello ice, the two on the right. Those are all sparkly. It's so pretty. Let's have a look. It's so exciting. So she's teamed up with Ken Oliver, and they've come out with this hopefully first collection, and I hope there's more to come because these are so much fun. So I grabbed some watercolor paper, spritzed on some water. There's two ways you can do this. You can start by adding water and then sprinkling on your powder. Watch, see what happens there? It just starts to, just like it bursts. It's perfectly named. There's like little bursts of color. It's awesome. So you saw me there with the Suede shoes, which is blue. But when you look at the paper, there's like, reds and purples. It's so pretty, little flecks of colors. And then with the limoncello, you think it's just yellow, but then there's oranges and reds and stuff in there. It's amazing how this works. And then you just spritz on the water there. I needed a bit more, and you can see it just like burst out there. Oh, it's so cool. So once I'm happy with this, I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. Okay, so now that that's all dry, I'm going to add a little pop of color here. Like there's not already lots of pops of color, but I'm going to take the Samba powder and some water, just mix it up on my on a stamping block, and then make it like you're mixing paint. And then I'm just going to use a paintbrush and splatter red all over my panel there, just for pops of color. So I'll set this aside, and I'm going to turn this into a card later. So now I've got some more watercolor paper. I've spritzed my panel with water, and I'm using the Samba liquid ice. Or sorry, keep calling it liquid ice. Samba ice liquid sparkle. And I'm squirting some of that on, adding more water, and I'm just going to dry this up. Okay, so I'm going to use the rose stencil, put that over top, and some embossing paste, and I'm going to mix in the limoncello ice liquid sparkle. Just a few drops. I think I did about 4 maybe. Mix that up, and then I'm going to add that over top of the rose stencil, but not covering the whole thing. I'm just going to cover up some of it. Okay, so let's pull off this stencil and let's have a look. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can really see the sparkle, but it's really pretty in person. So I'll set that aside. We'll make another card out of that later. So remember I said earlier there was 2 ways to do this. So I've spritzed the panels with water and then added the powder. Now we're going to flip it around. We're going to add the powder first and then do the water. But go easy on the powders, because you saw how much they just burst out with color when the water's added. So just go easy. A little bit goes a long way. Now check it out. Look at that. Just little spritz and it just boom, there it goes. So I worked my way around the panel, just adding it here and there. And it's so cool. Look at it all. It's just so cool. I could do this for hours. So I'm going to dry this with my heat gun. You may have noticed that I've speed up lots of parts throughout here. It's a long video showing all the different panels I made, so I'm speeding through some of it, but you get the idea. So now I'm going to mix some of the limoncello ice liquid sparkle and some water on a block, grab a paintbrush, and just start splattering some gold flecks on my panels. Okay, so this time I'm using this beautiful new background stamp. It's called Rizzo, and I'm going to heat emboss it with white embossing powder onto the watercolor paper. Okay, so I'm going to skip right over the embossing part and jump to the color bursts. So I'm going to do ink smushing. So this time I sprinkled the powder onto my craft mat, spritzed on some water. I used limoncello and samba. And then I'm going to flip my paper over, it's embossed, and pounce it into the color burst. This would look really cool in the green and the blue, I think, too, or the blue and the yellow, so that you get a little bit of green in there. I think that would look pretty pretty. Okay, so now I'm just going to dry this one up with my heat tool and then dab off the excess with the cloth, and this one's finished. So here's the different panels that I've made today. And this big one, I'm going to cut that down into some smaller ones and I'll make some cards out of that. So there's one more I want to show you. Okay, so this next one uses the Beargrass stencil. It's pretty cool. It's out today as well. It's part of the release. And what I'm going to do is I'm using Suede Shoes powder, and I do it in the top, and I sort of divide it into 4 sections. So in the top and the 3rd section, and then the limoncello in the 2nd and the 4th section, not mixing the powders. So when I squirt the water on there, you can see that they're in sections, right? So lay my stencil over top, and then I'm going to use a cloth to pull away some of the ink. Dry it a little bit. Not too long yet. I don't know if it would probably damage the stencil because it's hot, right? So don't do it for too long. And then pull that off and then dry it completely. I love that look. See all those little lines? So cool. So I hope you're inspired to go out and get yourself some of these Carnival color bursts because they are a ton of fun. Here are some of the cards I made with today's panels. I'll have more about these cards and all the products I use to make them on my blog. So hop on over there and come say hi, okay? So thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.